Welcome back to Roy and Rescue fans. In this episode, we're going to take a closer look at the difference between sprains, strains, and fractures. So if you've ever wondered if you should see the doctor after you hurt your wrist or ankle or another joint, you'll want to tune into this episode of Roy and Rescue. So let's take a look at some common sprains and strains. The wrist has been called the most complex joint in the body. It consists of a lot of small bones and many different ligaments that can be easily injured by sports and non-sport related incidences. The most common is a wrist injury that occurs among young athletes and sports that include wheels, which are usually caused by unexpected falls onto an outstretched hand. Now keep in mind that the wrist has about 10 bones altogether. 2 long forearm bones called the radius and the ulna, and then 8 small bones that lie between the bones of the hand and the forearm bones, which are called carpal bones. There's multiple ligaments that connect and support each of these bones, making a sprain, a strain, or a fracture pretty common. Sprains are given different grades to indicate the severity of the injury. A grade 1 is a mild sprain where the ligaments are stretched, small or partial tears are possible, while a grade 2 is moderate sprain where the ligaments are partially torn. There may be some instability and loss of functionality in that joint, while a grade 3 is severe sprain where the ligament is completely torn and may also be accompanied by a fracture. Okay, so here's the tricky part. Signs and symptoms of fractures versus strains and sprains are kind of hard to tell apart, but let's give it a try. Some common symptoms of a fracture might include immediate pain and tenderness, bruising and swelling at the point of the fracture, some deformity, looking bent or hanging in an unusual way, but it's not always evident, especially in the wrist with a scaphoid fracture. Here's the deal. Now, the symptoms of a sprain or strain may include pain, bruising, and swelling at the joint. Pain worsens with more movement and weakness of the hand or the foot, and an inability to move the wrist or the ankle. So here's the problem. You're probably thinking to yourself, well, if it's a sprain or a strain, do I really need to go in to see the doctor? Well, the problem is that without an x-ray, it's really difficult to know if there's a fracture present. Rest for at least 48 hours, avoiding movements that aggravate the symptom. Ice the sprain for 48 hours after the injury by applying an ice pack to the wrist or the ankle or another joint every 3 to 4 hours for about 20 minutes. Remember, it's important to put some cloth between the ice or the cold pack and your skin to try to protect your skin from frostbite. Then use a compress, like an ace bandage, for the swelling, and then elevate the joint above the heart while resting to help control the swelling. Lastly, the S in Rice's is an over-the-counter splint that could be in position to help protect that joint from being re-injured again. This really helps protect it, especially when you have to work or if you're going to be in an area where you might bump the joint again and cause further harm. Now remember that splinting it and doing all this stuff at home is no substitute for going to the doctor if you do suspect a possible fracture or you're not sure. Remember, it's going to be vital for you to be seen probably by a physician if you can't bear weight on the joint and you're not able to use it correctly, so that in the case that it is a severe injury, the physician can actually treat it and or surgically correct it so that you can begin the healing process correctly. So, I hope this helps in some way, and until next time, keep on rescuing. Bye-bye.